Garmagad Cahirlook, and very fitting that you are in the chair, and especially the work you've done on this. I really would like to welcome Minister Roderick O'Gorman here today to speak on the mother and baby homes. And Minister, I really want to welcome you as well for coming to visit in Tuam and to meet with survivors. And I know that you and your team have engaged in in-depth consultation processes with many of the survivors and advocacy groups on their behalf. This is such a shameful part of our history. It's pure shame. It's left such a tragic legacy, and as representatives here, as public representatives, it is us who stand before people, and it is us who have to answer for what has happened in the past. And we have to rectify that, Minister. And in the report, in the confidential committee report, we saw the lived experiences and we read about the testimonies from our survivors, and that is our history, those testimonies. That is the history that will stand in time to come. And it is a history of how Irish women and children were treated in Ireland. And Irish society, we're here now, and I think Senator Hoey said we are a wealthy country now, and it is a very different world now. There was such poverty. I don't know if we can even imagine the poverty that was in the early Irish state, just pure poverty, the amount of immigration in the 20s, 30s, 40s. And that poverty, what did it lead to? The poverty led to the societal attitudes. It led to the state being intertwined with the church. It led to lack of oversight. It led to so many things. Like, we are in such a better place now, but the poverty of that period, I think, is just shocking. And we are very fortunate to be in a better place now. I suppose, Minister, I just want to pay tribute, particularly to those who are, to everyone, I suppose. If I might just mention that there are people who are still suffering in silence. There are people who've come forward, who've been able to come forward, but there are still very many who have not spoken about this. And I suppose just to really highlight for people who are listening to us that there are helpline numbers. And if I might just mention, I know, Minister, that there are counselling supports available. I know for each area, each county that you come from, there are numbers through the HSE. But also there's the Connect Counselling free phone service, 1-800-477-477 from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week. Speaking about all of this abuse is bringing many memories to the surface, and we're seeing many coming to us. I know for me, many are coming to me from other residential institutions, speaking about the suffering that they endured and the abuse they endured. And I just want to say that for people who are going through this, those counselling services are for everyone. Minister, just on the actual scheme itself, this is an action plan about how we will go forward, and it's the commitment on behalf of the state about roughly overall the scheme of 800 million. You've mentioned, Minister, that an estimated 34,000 people will qualify for financial payments and that over 19,000 will be eligible for an enhanced medical card. I welcome, as you've said, that those who are vulnerable and elderly, older survivors will be prioritised for payment. I think that's absolutely crucial, Minister. Also, that people who are living outside of Ireland will also be able to access this scheme, and that survivors will be free to speak about this in terms of their engagement on this scheme. I welcome these measures, Minister. And you also mentioned in your opening speech the postgraduate scholarships in the IRC on childhood disadvantage. That is something that's going to stand to us in the future about how we deal with disadvantage. You talk about the programme where it's going to analyse the stigma. And stigma is very strong, The stigma of everything back in society back in that day meant that the worst thing in the world was to be an unmarried mother. Society would shun you, your family would leave you, that, you would be put out the door. I sometimes ask myself, what is the stigma today? What is today's stigma? Who in our society today is suffering from those levels? Because I don't know if stigma totally disappears, so I think that's really important. The payment scheme, Minister, I think what I would be asking is that, yes, urgent access is required. You've mentioned that there is an annual report each year to follow on progress. It's across 8 themes. 13 of those 22 actions are in progress. I might ask you, Minister, to speak a little bit about the Patient Advocacy Liaison Service. How will this support people who come forward into this service as well? And I know that you've also spoke about Tuam and the Memorialisation Service as well. Just for us in Galway, and I know, you know, and Roscommon as well, like that home, there was just it's tragic. I actually don't know how to put things into words when I think of that home, but just to say thank you, Minister, and thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you.